Good evening. Welcome to Good Friday service. My name is Bill Lamora. I'm the pastor at College Methodist Church. With me is the Reverend Doug Krause, who is the pastor at Harmony Church in Wright City, Innsbruck area. And also a special warm welcome to those of you from other churches that are with us tonight, including Harmony. We're just really glad that you are with us. We gather here tonight on the heels of some really wonderfully uplifting services. Palm Sunday, where we raised the palms, and some of you I heard raised the palms, and sang to the beautiful uplifting songs of Jesus coming into Jerusalem. We celebrated that. And then last night, some of you were at church, some of you were at restaurants, you were all over. We had a great time just getting to know each other and singing songs and just enjoying each other's company and receiving communion and really looking at deeply what that's really all about. It was a great night. But tonight is different. Tonight is a different feel altogether. For tonight, as we gather together, we focus on the death of our Savior. We focus on the crucifixion, because without the cross, there could be no tomb. And so as we do that, we want to just have you receive it. We want you to hear it, to feel it, to experience it. And so you'll do a lot of sitting and listening and pondering tonight. But as you do, I hope that it helps you to take in the significance of this great night. It's sometimes hard to fathom, for me, how easy it was for Jesus to be betrayed. What little it took to sway one of his closest confidants to give him away. It is interesting that it's only in the Gospel of Matthew where we see that the betrayal was a cost of 30 pieces of silver. Maybe Matthew, the tax collector, realized really how ironic it was that it was money, not loyalty, that brought Jesus to his final destiny.
Pieces of silver, oh Judas, what have you After Judas had sold Jesus out to the Pharisees, he looked for an opportunity to betray him. With that fully in mind, he attended the Passover meal with Jesus and his friends. I cannot imagine how he must have felt, what burden must have been laid on his heart as he approached the doorway to the room where they would have their meal, their Last Supper together, as it was. I'm sure that he could never have imagined what that night might be like. This man, whom he called teacher, got down on his knees and became the servant to his followers.
They washed their feet. And they ate their meal together, and when the meal had ended, the men all headed off to the garden in Gethsemane where Jesus wanted to pray. It was there in the garden that the first of the physical and brutal interactions that he would have with the Roman soldiers would occur. Often I'm struck by the fact that Jesus could have stopped all of this at any point, but chose instead to move forward with his mission. Chose not to call on the powers of heaven to rescue him from this journey that would ultimately lead to his death on the cross. Matthew chapter 26 captures the moment in the garden so eloquently. While he was still speaking, Judas, one of the 12, arrived, and with him was a large crowd armed with swords and clubs, sent from the chief priests and the elders of the people. Now the betrayer had arranged a signal with them. "The one I kiss is the man, arrest him." And going at once to Jesus, Judas said, "Greetings, Rabbi," and kissed him. And Jesus replied, "Do what you came for, friend." Then the men stepped forward, seized Jesus, and arrested him. With that, one of Jesus' companions reached for his sword, drew it out, and struck the servant of the high priest, cutting off his ear. "Put your sword back in its place," Jesus said to him. "For all who draw the sword will die by the sword. Do you think I could not call on my Father, and that he would at once put at my disposal more than 12 legions of angels? But how then would the scriptures be fulfilled that say, 'It must happen this way'?"
Throughout the night, Jesus would face 3 sham trials among the Pharisees and the chief priests. By morning, he would land on the steps of the Roman governor, Pontius Pilate. Pilate could see nothing in his actions that would cause him to sentence Jesus to death. But the Pharisees would hear nothing of it. They demanded to be crucified. They demanded that he be crucified. So Pilate relented. Hear these words from the 19th chapter of the Gospel of John. The soldiers took Jesus prisoner. Carrying his cross by himself, he went out to a place called the Skull Place, in Aramaic, Golgotha. That's where they crucified him, and the 2 others with him, one on each side and Jesus in the middle. Pilate had a public notice written and posted on the cross. It read, "Jesus the Nazarene, the King of the Jews." Many of the Jews read this sign, for the place where Jesus was crucified was near the city, and it was written in Aramaic, Latin, and Greek. Therefore the Jewish chief priests complained to Pilate, "Don't write the King of the Jews." But this man said, "I am King of the Jews." Pilate answered, "What I have written, I have written."
One day he'll shout the great Amen, and all the world will bow. But on this day, he'll not be heard. The Lamb is silent now. 40 days ago, Pastor Doug and I encouraged our congregations to begin a journey with us, a journey towards Easter, a 40-day journey where we would walk and we would listen and we would hear and we would try to figure out what it was that we needed to change in our own lives to draw us closer to Jesus on Easter Sunday. We invited you each to carry a nail with you, a nail that would symbolize for you your journey. For some of you, this nail might mean a relationship that needs repair. It could be an addiction or a sin that you need to finally, once and for all, give up and give away. It could be a broken heart. It could be a situation where you are having just a terrible time with somebody that you work with or somebody that you live near that you have just fought and can't figure out an answer. It could be so many different things to each one of us. It could just be the sin in our lives that we're finally ready to let go of. And so tonight, for our final hymn, if you will, we're going to invite each of you to come up when you're ready and take your nail and with one of these hammers, drive it into this cross. When I say drive it in, I don't mean drive it all the way down, but put it in far enough where it will stay and it will symbolize, you can look at that symbol there of your whatever it is that you represents what you're giving away to this cross, to make this work that he did worth it. When you finish nailing your nail in the cross, I invite you to spend a moment or two, just maybe you want to sit in one of the pews up here or kind of stand around and just look at it or just touch the wood of the cross to let it soak in. And then I'm going to ask you to do something pretty different. I'm going to ask you to just go home. Don't stop and talk in the hallways. Don't gather outside and laugh about what happened last week or next week, but just go home. Go home and soak in the fact that none of us are worthy of what he did for us that night, and yet he did it anyways. Go home and remember that This God who didn't need to do any of this did all of it. Every bit of it, every last step of it, he completed the journey so that we had a chance, so that we could be redeemed. Let that soak into your body tonight, to your soul tonight, to your spirit tonight. And all day tomorrow, on Saturday, as you think about coming back here for the real end to this service on Easter Sunday, or whatever church it is that you will be at on Easter Sunday. And so our time here is done. And as our final hymn, I invite you, when you're ready, and take as long as you want, to drive your nail. Get the controller.